Hi, I am Cassie Anderson. I'm the Master Gardener Coordinator in Adams County, and today I'm here to talk to you about planting a tomato plant. So tomato plants are usually good to go into the soil once the soil temperatures are up to about 60-65 degrees. That's usually sometime in mid to late May. You want to make sure you've got them in sometime by the earliest part of June so that you are guaranteed to get a crop. We've got our little tomato plant here. I've already dug a hole. So if you notice, I haven't dug a hole straight down into the ground. I've dug a little bit of a trench. That's because this guy I am actually going to plant sideways. Tomatoes actually will produce adventitious roots over when they're in the soil. And so if you want to really get the full advantage of that, then you can have a lot of this existing stem turn into a root system for you. That's going to give you a lot stronger tomato overall. So let's get started. To loosen up, you don't want to pull by the stem. You want to squeeze the sides of the pot and gently loosen the plant out of the pot. And put that pot aside. This one is quite nicely rooted. You can see there's some roots on the side here, but there's not a really dense mat of roots. So that means that it was well sized for its pot and that it's a pretty good size plant overall. I'm going to tease these roots apart just a little bit, just to encourage a little bit of extra growth. You don't need to be too worried about hurting the roots. They're going to grow back pretty rigorously once they're in the soil. So now that I've done that, I'm going to put this guy in the soil. I'm actually going to pinch off these lower two sets of leaves. That's just to encourage them to these to grow as this part of the stem to grow with roots. All right, so I'm just going to make sure that this has good contact with the soil and gently kind of tuck it in. This one, it's kind of an advantage. It had a little bit of a bend in it, so it's got a little bit of a nice upright habit. Just kind of tuck it in. And then we will give it a nice big drink. You might want to give it a couple of drinks in the first day just to make sure that you're getting good soil moisture. If your soil was dry when you were planting, you should probably moisten the soil before you start planting as well. All right, so here is our freshly planted baby tomato, and we are going to give it a drink so that it can get its roots nicely established. And you do want to remember that you planted it lengthwise, so you want to get a nice good drink all along the length of its root system. And if the water starts to pool on the top like it did here, you want to probably come back and give it another wetting in a few minutes once that water has drained down into the soil profile. Tomatoes are pretty heavy feeders, especially as they're getting established, so definitely make sure you give it a good source of fertilizer, especially in the earlier part of its season. If you give too much nitrogen, then you're going to get a lot of top growth and not a lot of fruit. So be careful of not overdoing it. Just give it a nice little drink or a nice little feed. And you can check out some of our fact sheets for a feeding schedule. If you have any other questions, definitely give us an email or give us a call.